States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Diane? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on from there, I think the first thing we get to hear about is our scholar athletes.
Yes, we have recognition for the board this evening of our scholar athletes. I'd like to introduce Greg Whitman, our athletic director, who will lead us through the recognition. Greg?
Very good, thank you. The New York State Public High School Interscholastic Organization, each year they sponsor a scholar athlete program for the fall, winter, and spring seasons. This year, all our fall teams, all 13 of them, qualified as scholar athlete teams. To qualify as a scholar athlete team, a required number of kids must have a 90% or higher GPA, so that the fact that all 13 teams have qualified, that's really good. I think that speaks volumes for the types of kids that we have here in Hamburg and for the coaches we have leading them through their seasons. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to introduce the teams. I will give you their team average, and then I'll introduce the coach, who will introduce their captains here tonight. In the spring, we will recognize every single kid individually at our sports awards night. For time reasons, we just can't do that tonight, but we did want everybody to be aware of the great things that our kids are doing. So we'll get right into it. The boys cross country team, coached by Coach Ron Fortuna, they had a team average of 98.614. Coach Fortuna.
I'd like to bring my captains forward, Sean Pine and Ben Brucker. First of all, I'd like to say that we're very proud to be recognized by the community as a scholar athlete team. We try to combine both athletics and academics so that both of them are successful. Not only on being a scholar athlete team, we ended up ranking number 4 in New York State. Which is pretty high as a scholar athlete team.
Right.
So that's the top 1%.
Great.
Great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great job, guys. Next is our girls cross country team. They're coached by Coach Malikin. They had a team average of 96.639.
This is Lauren Frederickson. What Lauren managed to do as a captain this year was meld a bunch of very, very young athletes into a very, very competent team. We finished the highest we ever finished, not academically because we won one year, but we finished the highest we ever finished athletically in the section. And I'm very proud of what Lauren's done, and I'm very proud of the work you do together with Mr. Fortuna in terms of building a strong cross-country program. And I want to point out that no girls cross-country team in Hamburg has never not been a scholar athlete team.
Next is our field hockey team. They're coached by Kelly Owens, who can't be here tonight. She's downstairs tonight coaching basketball, and if they win tonight, they win the division. So we're rooting for them. But the field hockey team had a team average of 94.213. Here for Coach Owens tonight is Coach Palma, our JV coach.
I'd like to bring up our two of our four
modified coach,
captains.
sorry.
That's okay. I'm one of the coaches. Andrea Golbach and Kaylee Ramakers. The field hockey team has won back-to-back Section 6 championships, and the first time that we won a division this year as well. Woo!
Congratulations. Our football team, coached by Mr. Mike McFadden, had a team average of 94.883.
Aaron Derby, Sam Booth, John Stefaniak, and Coach Colley sitting here in the far row. Our assistant coach does a lot of stuff with our leadership training in our program. The kids did a great job. These guys did a great job of leading on and off the field. Whereas we finished #1 in Western New York for football programs. and also third out of 629 teams in the state academically. One more quick note, every of the 39 kids on our team, 38 of them had at least an 80 or above, with 21 with a 90 or above average.
Congratulations. Next is our golf team. They had a team average of 91.226. They're coached by Mr. Larry Dubill, who couldn't be here tonight because his daughter's performing in Fiddlefest, I believe. Do we have any of our golfers in attendance tonight? Introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Connor Placon. Here, but I was captain this year. We finished the season at 500, which isn't our best, but we had fun. Yeah, I guess we were pretty good in terms of schoolwork, so.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Congratulations. Next is our boys gymnastics team. They had a team average of 93.095. Mr. Bob Beach is a coach of that team, and I don't see him. Do we have any of our boys gymnasts here?
I'm Scott. I'm the captain of the boys gymnastics team, and we had multiple people place in the CICs this year, and Coach Beach always stresses the importance of school even before practice, as much as hard as that is for him.
Good. Congratulations. Our girls gymnastics team, coached by Mr. Tim Neihart, they had a team average of 97.763.
Not sure if I have any. I have one captain here, Jillian Summers. Oh, come up here then, ladies. Carrie Merzinski and Krista Syracuse was with us here tonight. Our team this year, we have probably one of the largest teams in the section. We carry 26, 27 girls on the team, and of those girls, I think 26 of them had at least 90 or above. We had a good season this year, and we thank the board for having a gymnastics team because it's not very many teams in the section, but we very much appreciate it.
Thank you. Boys soccer, coached by Mr. Jim Harrigan, team average of 92.877.
I have with me this evening, I have Garrett Reddick. These are my captains, Garrett Reddick and Jared Brucker. Garrett finished the year with, or the first two quarters, he has a 95 average. And Jared is the anchor for our team academically, and he has a 90, what do you have, 98 average.
Awesome. Great job, guys. Girls soccer, coached by Mr. Bruce Mitchell, team average of 95.798.
Good evening. I shall be brief. Finished my 11th year coaching a varsity team in the 11 years. We have managed to become a designated scholar athlete team. I'm joined this evening by one of our co-captains for 2 years, Ms. Marissa Lombard. What was particularly good about the team this year is in past years we've often had students who are ranked first or second in their senior class. We did not have a student ranked quite that high, but 20 of the 22 players of the team achieved the 90 or above average. So this is the second highest average we've ever had. I wanted Marissa to come here especially tonight because she recently signed her letter of intent, and she will be a member of, you can consider it?
All right.
The Thundering Herd of Varsity.
Girls swimming and diving, coached by Mr. Dave Evans, team average of 95.727.
And Eric Birmingham, these are our two captains. This is something I had done a while ago and came back to it. I've been doing it the last 5 years. Coming back to this, I enjoy watching the kids go from here to there and watch their improvement. And these guys lead a great bunch of girls. And it's when I look at the averages and see the academics that I'm working with, it's not so much about being a good coach. I just have great material, so I really appreciate it.
The girls tennis team is coached by Mr. Marty Snyder. They had a team average of 94.308.
I'd like to introduce our team captains, Jill Hamill and Nicole Urbanski. This year, 10 of our 12 varsity players had averages of 90 or above. Jill actually won the state, one of the state individual scholar athlete awards, which means they have to have an average of 90 above for 6 semesters. And Jill, but it's also based on other criteria, and you nominate them and then they get chosen, and Nicole won an honorable mention in that category also. Both of these young ladies did well in sectionals this year. Jill came in 4th in sectionals and in singles, and Nicole was 7th in doubles. That's out of 500 some girls in the league. And our team did well too. We were 8-2. If it wasn't for that pesky Weisville East, we would have been 10-0. So, but these girls really exemplify the scholar athletes. So,
Congratulations. Boys volleyball team coached by Mr. Brian Carroll, team average of 94.650.
This is Josh Babcock, Eric Simoncelli, and Brian Keel. Brian Keel's not one of our team captains, but he was nominated and he got selected to be the AdPro All-Western New York team, which took an application, letters of recommendation. It was a pretty rigorous process, and he did an excellent job this year. The biggest highlight of our year, before every game, we always had like a study area, like a cafeteria before games. We went to St. Joe's, which is pretty academically oriented, and their AD came in as all of our boys were studying. He said, "Boy, these guys are really getting their work done," and it really made an impact. I said, "Boy, did you realize that their AD came in and just saw you sitting there, and he was just amazed at like how hard you guys were working. There was no one fooling around playing cards or anything like that. They were all studying, and it's pretty hard for our team to make Scholastic All-West New York because we carry about 12 kids in the roster, and you need to have 8 get above 90, and this year we did it, and I'm really proud of these guys."
Congratulations. Our last team is the girls volleyball team coached by Mr. John Krangle with a team average of 95.909.
These are our team captains, Jess Wood, Alicia Porak, and Jess Schneider. They exemplify a well-rounded program, well-rounded individuals, as they have placed in the top 10 in New York State academically 2 years in a row. These girls won the school's first ever section title 2 years ago, school's second consecutive section title last year. They played for the 3rd consecutive title this year, and also captured school's first ever division title this year. Lastly, only one school is recognized as a sportsmanship team, and these girls here, very proud of them, capture that as well. So you don't get much better than a well-rounded individual than these 3 here, capturing academics, scholars, and sportsmanship. Congratulations. Thank
you. Before I say goodnight, I would just like to mention that we had 184 students qualify as scholar athlete students, and for all our sports teams, the overall team average for Hamburg this fall was a 95.054%. If anybody wants to talk about dumb jocks, it's not here in Hamburg, it's somewhere else. So I'd like to thank the board for giving us an opportunity to recognize our kids tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's wonderful. Thank you. Moving on, we've got Trish Miller and Jean Gunner who are speaking with us about the Seeds of Living Education.
Yes, just as a way of introduction, we're looking at the construction of a small, what is called a garden, or referred to as garden hut over at Union Pleasant. I know this has been in discussion for a couple of years now, but due to the fact of several new board members, I thought we needed to renew the discussion. What we'll be looking at this evening is presenting information to you regarding the garden hut and the Seeds of Education, Seeds of Living Education. And we'll look to put a formal resolution on the February 28th agenda. It is a budget work session, but In order to move this along, it does need state education department approval, so I'll be looking to give us a 2-week period to ask and answer any questions that you may have, and then we'll have a formal resolution approving it so we can get authority from the state education department to make this work, so.
And actually, while you're prepping to get the
Yes.
PowerPoint going.
We were gonna do a PowerPoint because, as you said, Steve, we were gonna do a little brief history, if that's okay.
And I can pass out what the architect has come up with, a drawing and a little information. Thanks, Joe.
You go take a
I am. I know, that was quick,
Pretty
Joe.
smile. Thank you very much.
Don't snag my spot. Oh, that's, I said, hold down.
Tom will save you.
I just think the white room will turn that. Oh, thanks. There you
Okay, all right. So how long is it?
Oh, it's coming, okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Jean Gunner, and I am one of the co-founders of the Giving Garden and the co-chair of Seeds of Living Education. And Tricia Miller is with me today. She is the vice chair of Seeds of Living Education, and she's been a large impetus and factor behind getting the Giving Garden Hut moving along on the agenda. So what we're going to do today is a very brief story. It's a number of slides, but I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. And so Seeds of Living Education, we are parents, educators, and community members who care. And hopefully I know what I'm doing here. So welcome to the Giving Garden. That's a kindergarten class we had out there about a year ago. Can everyone see this okay? About 40 kids. What do we do in the Giving Garden? We do hands-on learning. The children sow, plant, cultivate, and harvest seeds and vegetables. We're learning about organic gardening methods. We're learning that health extends beyond our bodies to the environment. And also, very importantly, where our food comes from. We have worked very diligently over the last few years to try to integrate the garden-based learning into a curriculum, and there are many different ways to do that. Math, square foot gardening, science, companion planting and life cycles, ecology. The children learn about pests versus beneficial insects, history and social studies, where many different types of foods come from, and this generates a lot of thinking for the kids in the garden, such as writing and essays, etc. That the children have to do a lot of, obviously. Oops, wrong way. So right here, the kids are basically learning about spatial awareness. We had forms, the garden beds are 4 foot by 16 feet, and the children, we divided each one of those plots up into 45 square feet, and they learn a lot of their math skills in the garden. So here they are, the kindergartners composting and seed saving in the fall. The garden ripples through our community. Many friends, family, and community members have been involved. We've welcomed in not only classrooms, but clubs, local businesses, the senior center, chefs, and we've done a number of culinary demonstrations as well throughout the district with the food that we've harvested. How did this come to be? Well, it came to be because I went many years ago now and ate lunch with my son, and there was a little girl that was eating chocolate cake, chocolate ice cream, and chocolate milk, and things have come a long way in our school lunchroom thanks to Linda Muldoon and the work that the school food service folks are doing. But I thought that it needed some action, and we got a group of people together. So 2 moms, 1 vision. Stacy Furlong and I got the ball rolling with the help of Linda Muldoon, and that pretty much speaks for itself. So we were asked to be part of the wellness committee, which convened in 2008, and on the spot we were named to that, so we figured it was time to change the world. But we realized that takes a lot of work, so it's good to be positive though. So, obviously we started making some changes and sitting down and talking, and these are just the demographics, how many breakfasts and lunches we serve, or that I don't serve, but Linda Muldoon and her crew serves. So really, the school food reality was it's not in the budget, and it has to pay for itself, and we know in tight budget times, we have to be realists here. So, we just, we've been working, I don't want to get too much into this, but we've been working on a la carte snack menu that might be a little healthier. And we befriended the lunch ladies because these women are absolutely awesome. And so we applied for a grant, and we won it in 2009 thanks to the makers of Hidden Valley Ranch. We won $5,000, and we put a garden together at Union Pleasant Elementary School. Also with the help of Jackie Pepper, and the teachers over there who've been really awesome. So, whole bunch of folks jumped in and helped. The school board was part of that. Home Depot helped us build these gardens, and many businesses got involved. And we work with the kindergartens through fifth graders, but we also work with all the schools and the high school students and the middle
Clubs
school.
outside of the school, senior center, anyone interested in visiting the garden.
And we're going into our fourth year growing in the garden, sorry. Just life before the Giving Garden, it was a vacant, green area. And then that was the building of it, part of it. The kids loved seeing the backhoe. It was, oh my gosh, I'm not really good at this. Okay, the birth of the Giving Garden, so you see 6 raised beds, and we've grown, oh my goodness, probably a couple hundred different varieties of plants and for veggies and fruits as well. We have strawberries, raspberries, huckleberries, apple trees.
Apple trees, tomatoes.
It's pretty incredible stuff. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so we've impacted, this number's a little bit old, but I'd say over 1,000 people have visited over the last few years, including all the people from the community. And we've done a number of classroom tasting and culinary demonstrations. We also worked with Be Healthy Institute on Main Street, Jill Cha-Cha, this past year. That was exciting and fun. Oh, goodness. And that's just some planting. You can see the kids working on their planting. And so we decided to put a not-for-profit together, and we did that in 2009, and that's how Seeds of Living Education came to life. It's teachers, school board representatives, business members, moms, dads. And our mission statement is to encourage lifelong nutritious eating habits by offering school children a hands-on educational experience in a living classroom in the natural environment. Pretty much speaks for itself. And what does that comprise? Well, transforming school food, but that takes the united effort, and that's going to be a lot more than just us here locally. Nutritional education and tastings, and also garden-based hands-on learning. And that's really been, the garden-based hands-on learning combined with the tastings has been two corner pieces of what it is we're doing. And that was just when we dedicated, and those are our kids, Stacy Furlong on the right, me on the left with our children, and Mary Biter's daughter. And so we talked a little bit about what's growing. We also have an asparagus patch, and I will tell you, kids will eat raw asparagus if dipped in Hidden Valley Ranch or any other kind of dressing. They love it. You get them out there planting, you get them hungry enough, they will eat it. They actually do eat it, and they like it. Or at least they eat it, so they must like it. Oh boy. New experiments, what do we have going on right now? Well, Tricia's been working on a hoop house in the winter months where we're extending the season of growing. We have worms. It's called a worm wicking bed, where the worms are doing their, wonderful work in the soil. The kids love this stuff. Problem-solving skills are fostered. They learn life lessons. There's success in the garden. There's a lot of failures in the garden as well, and that's okay because life is trial and error. So it's neat stuff. There's our worm wicking bed. It has this pipe that goes in, and we've built since more beds too.
Yes, we've added 3 more beds.
So we're always thinking of doing something here. More square foot gardening, more lessons in measurement, students enjoying a nutritious snack. I think that's that asparagus I mentioned. See, they're eating it. I captured it. Each year we kind of do themes. Last year we did ethnicities in the garden. It was fun. Mexican bed, Italian bed. We've had the Native American bed. It's really neat. Okay, come on. Oh my goodness. Romanesco broccoli we grew. I don't know if anyone's ever eaten that, but it's pretty interesting looking. There's the garden club. They're plucking out these gigantic rainbow carrots, we did rainbow cauliflower, we grew really neat radishes and Brussels. Yeah, they actually take this stuff out, they wash it and they make things and they eat it right in front of you. It's great. They painted rain barrels. Trisha's really been integral. She's organized so much of this in the past year, and I'm just dominating because she told me to do the talking.
Yeah.
So I'm doing what I'm told. Bringing, the garden club, we also meet once a week, the garden club, and that's a group of between 10 and 30 kids that
Yes.
meet once a week and do a lot of the hands-on labor, but we want to get more and more of the classrooms out as well. But we understand the teachers and, we as a district and many districts are under a lot of pressure to get a lot done during the day. But how do we integrate that into the day? That's the question, into the curriculum. More harvesting with the kiddos. It's Mary Biter's daughter with that Romanesco broccoli. Okay, making innovative snacks. I believe they were eating petals of flowers there that are edible, am I correct?
Flowers, yes.
Yep. Classroom tastings, It Be Healthy, more classroom tastings. They eat all these veggies, by the way. You can't imagine.
They grow it.
They planted trees in the winter with Amy Takis's class, not this winter, but the winter before. And fundraising, where we've gotten our money, Hidden Valley Ranch, HSBC, Chipotle, local business, Kiwanis. We do a harvest dinner every year, individual donations, and getting to our next big idea, which is the Giving Garden Hut. And the one thing I do want to say to the board is, please excuse our enthusiasm. I know we probably push because we so believe in this, and we do want to take a step back and really acknowledge the work that you all do, because we're just passionate moms and we care, and you care so much, but we have to get that, we realize we need to have a more united conversation. So excuse our enthusiasm. So visit us anytime, we'd love to have you. You can even come over and see what's going on now. And we have a website, which is seedsoflivingeducation.org, and I did it. There we go, Trish is just going to talk to the board for a minute about her
The
schematic.
handout that I passed to all of you was from our architect. This is basically what the drawing is. It's a simple outdoor structure so that during inclement weather, we have many classes come out for 20, 30 minutes at a time and have a lesson, sometimes 2 or 3 in a day. But if it's rainy, if it's windy, if it's too cold, teachers oftentimes will cancel. But if there's an outdoor structure where the kids can do the seedlings or have a lesson on composting, they will come out to the garden. And the more time the children spend at the garden, the more likely they are to eat vegetables. So I hope that
Electricity, will there be electricity out to this?
there will be electricity out to this, yes.
And what about water?
No.
Rainwater. The electricity hookup is there, it's on our property to hook up. The architect here has worked with the State Education Department before as well. He's very familiar with the requirements. He has the contact at State Education Department that he's worked with. I believe also, you indicated at one point BOCES was going to be participating in it.
Yes, Uri and BOCES has agreed to build this for us. And along with all of our donations and what we've raised fund-wise, that would be our supplies. But Uri One and the students from here, from Hamburg, will build it. And then they will build it at Uri One and then bring it to site. And then we have a lot of local businesses that are interested in donating, like shingles and windows and whatnot.
What do you anticipate is the inside? Are there gonna be cabinets or cupboards to keep your supplies, or just
We're
picnic
hoping
tables, or
for
what?
some cupboards, and that was offered to us by a local business, but I want to confirm that. And then hopefully we can find someone to build us maybe some sort of tables or benches that the children can work at when we go out to plant seedlings or separate seedlings or sift compost, whatever it is that we need to do. It's going to be a very basic inside.
The foundation is already there.
Foundation
So it
is
will
already
be placed
there.
on the foundation that's there. So they're minimal, I guess in terms of construction, minimal amount of work will take place on site. It will be built at BOCES, and I think, we were able to see some of the trades program at BOCES work, and the work that they do was terrific.
It really is cool.
To have our kids involved with that and then coming here, I think it's a great thing. So what we're going to do then is put the resolution together for the board. You'll see that in next week's update, and we'll take action, have it as an action item on the 28th agenda. Okay?
I have one other question.
Sure.
The height of it, is that a loft up above where that top window is, or is that just light?
No,
that
there
comes
is
in?
a loft, only half of a loft, and that's for storage. only people that would have access to it would be the adults working at the garden.
And there would be like a ladder up to that or something?
Well,
Stairs
we would
up?
have a ladder accessible, we would not have a ladder that would stay there permanently. Yeah.
This is for the, like, winter and stuff, is there anything about heat, anything like that?
Well,
considered?
we would love at some point, but as long as the kids can be in an enclosed area, we still bring them out to the garden in the winter. But sometimes it's a little too windy, a little blustery. We can go out, check what's under our hoop houses, and then go have a small lesson in the shed. They're already dressed in their winter clothing.
Make sure the electrical requirements were, if we, expansion is good enough now.
Okay.
Is this on pavement or is it on
Yes,
the?
there's a concrete slab, existing slab that was there from a previous structure.
I hate to say, I have one more question. What's happening in terms of other elementary schools in terms of getting involved with this?
We are working on it. We have reached out to Charlotte, and we are helping them in starting their own garden. And we're hoping that in the future, that this will happen throughout the schools in the district. And I have been working very hard to have middle schoolers and high schoolers come over. We did have high schoolers come over in the fall and do a great deal of work for us. And I'd like to keep that going. So I hope, yeah.
It's not that easy to pound rebar, trust me. I remember it.
Thanks. Yeah,
But-
yeah,
but it-
that's
but
right,
it-
you
but
were
it's
up.
very- It was very worth it. It's very worth it.
It is. It's a beautiful, beautiful garden.
That's right, thank you.
Thank you very
Great
much.
idea.
Thank you.
We have our health folks that are going to address the board next. I'm not sure who is, would you guys just take a moment, introduce yourself? I'm not sure who's going to lead off, Pat or whomever.
Hi, I'm Mary Lynn Gallagher, and first I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And I want to thank the board for allowing our health department for the presentation tonight. There is an area there, it's on the agenda, it says high school health department. This is our entire health department, K to 12 is represented tonight. My responsibility is that I teach elementary health. And our district was on the cutting edge 20 years ago where they hired, we were the first in New York State to hire the first elementary health teacher, which was myself. And the reason for that is because they wanted one person to give all our students the same instruction in health, to keep them healthy and safe in the K-5 elementary building. So I am responsible for every student in the 4 elementary buildings of Boston Valley, Charlotte Avenue, Armour, and Union Pleasant, and including special ed. So I go to every single classroom. You can see that our program, our health department, is a building block effect. So the foundation that they get in the elementary level certainly then builds up to the middle school and then makes them certainly well-rounded by the time they get to the high school level. So we'll go to the next slide. These are the units that I am responsible for teaching. And each unit that is taught from me, all right, is taught certainly sensitivity and the integrity of the student, and it's taught in a matter of fact. And one of the areas that I teach, as you can see, is child abuse. And I think that every single student would recognize these. And when I talk about child abuse, certainly I use the bathing suits because we know it's the bathing suit area that covers the private parts of our body. And the students learn right K to 5, a building block effect again, as far as how important that their bodies are their own and no one has the right to touch their bodies in the sense of their private area. Just to kind of give you some stories that and feedback for what has happened as far as students learning this. The incident with Penn State. And I asked 5th grade students, do you know what happened with Penn State University? They're all very familiar with it. And I said, okay, let me ask you this. If it was a Hamburg student in the shower with the coach, how do you think that they would have handled that? They all said, oh, much different, much different. Why? Because we have been taught no one touches our bodies in that respect. We would have fought off and we would have told. So that is what's being taught as far as that unit is certainly affecting our kids in a very positive and safe manner. Abduction. There was an incident that I had been told several years ago when our principal, Cheryl Hakey, was at Union Pleasant. She contacted me in the summer and she said that she received a phone call from the parent, and the parent said My daughter, being in 5th grade, was sitting on her bottom reading a book in the summertime, and a man came up to her and asked her for directions, and she pointed the directions, and the man didn't leave. So he went closer to her, and as she stood up, he tried to press himself up against her, and she pushed, and she ran all the way home, yelled, screamed, whatever, told her mom to call the police. But the mom said to her, "How did you know what to do? Because I did not think I needed to do that, because we live in a good neighborhood." She said, "I remember Mrs. Gallagher saying, anyone gets close to me, you push, you shove, you run home, you tell." And she says, thank God that our kids are learning this instruction at a young level, because God knows what would have happened if she didn't know what to do. HIV/AIDS. The number of students that find dirty drug needles in our community, parks, playgrounds, all areas are instructive, of course, never, 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 never to touch them, and how dangerous they are, and the reasons for it. If they're by themselves, walk away from it. If you're with a friend, walk away from it. Tell an adult. So, as you can see that how crucial our elementary curriculum is in the sense of keeping our kids safe and well. Growth and development. The number of parents that come up to me and say, thank God you're teaching my child because I'm not comfortable with this. And if they're getting all the same instruction, and if they become more aware of their bodies in the sense of being happy with what they have, and not to compare themselves to some other student, to be happy of who they are and what they have. And I could go on with stories and stories, but as you can see that conflict management, bullying is incorporated, kindness, and tell children how important it is to be kind to each other, that it doesn't cost anything, and kind children grow up to be kind adults. Decision making and peer pressure, so that by the time that they leave the elementary level and go into the middle school, they have a good solid foundation. And now I want to introduce Greg Day.
Good evening, I'm Greg Day. I'm going to talk briefly about the middle school curriculum. I have been teaching health in the middle school for about 15 years now. Can't tell by my face, I'm sure I don't look that old. Due to the unfortunate changes in the middle school staff over the last couple of years, I've pretty much taken over the majority of the classes. I teach 20 sections of health in 6th and 7th grade. Mr. Cawley also comes over from the high school to teach the remaining 4 sections to the 6th grade. We're working really hard this year to provide the same health education that we always have, even though we're left with less time. We teach 10 weeks at both the 6th and the 7th grade level, and that fulfills the 20 weeks necessary for state requirements in the middle school. Just a quick overview. I'm not going to talk about each of my units, but just a couple points here. Wellness. We begin with the concept of the health triangle. That's the thing you saw teetering back and forth there at the transition of the slide. We try to teach the kids that there are 3 areas of health: physical, mental, and social. And each side of the health triangle is important, and an equilateral triangle means optimum health, and that's what we strive for. We continue with fitness, nutrition, and other ways to actively improve their health. The tobacco unit, we provide information about the devastating effects of tobacco on human health, and trying encouraging them to make better decisions than I can say some of my relatives, and I can speak of them and make good points about the dangers of smoking, because I think we've all lost people to that horrible habit. In family life in the middle school, it's an abstinence-based focus, and we focus on reproductive systems of the male and female. We talk about conception, development, and birth of a child. HIV and AIDS looks at diseases, the immune system, and how it affects, how it is affected by HIV. The drug abuse, moving on to 7th grade, I'll just speak of drug abuse. We review the tobacco and alcohol unit, which was covered in 6th grade as well. We go in depth with prescription, over-the-counter, and illicit drug abuse. In family life, this now focuses more away from the reproduction, but more on the reasons for choosing abstinence, which are, of course, avoiding STDs, unwanted pregnancy, and HIV/AIDS. In a perfect world, we'd be teaching this to 8th grade as well. I would love to do that. I love this grade, this age level. I think the 8th graders would certainly benefit from that as they transition into the high school. and are faced with a lot of major decisions in their lifetime. Hopefully someday that becomes a reality. Mr. Cully, we'll talk now about the high school.
Yeah, I'm Pat Cawley, and as Greg mentioned, I teach just a little bit now at the middle school, but most of my day spent here at the high school teaching 9-10 health, along with Sally Cousins and Doreen Morris. Our 9-10 program is 20 weeks. It meets every day for half the school year. Our curriculum builds upon what's been taught in the elementary level by Mary Lynn and also at the middle school. We cover the history of health and general wellness concepts, nutrition education, education on the #1 killer of American adults, heart disease, information on cancer, warning signs of the disease, stages of the disease, methods of treatment. We have a very thorough unit in mental health, which encompasses about 4 weeks of our 20 weeks with our students. We emphasize in this portion of our program values, development of self-esteem, decision-making, bullying solutions, positive ways to handle stress, and we spend some time on the many different mental health illnesses. It's also during this unit that we invite our guidance department in, and those folks do an outstanding job of presenting to our students all the many services that they offer to our young people here at the high school as they transition from adolescence to young adults. Doreen will take you through the rest of our 9-10 program.
I'm Doreen Morris, and I'm one of the teachers at the high school. Within the drug abuse prevention unit, we cover the following topics, as you can see. As far as the legal drugs go, alcohol is still considered the #1 legal drug that the students are participating in. As far as the illegal drugs, marijuana is #1 with a close second with the prescription drugs. We address the zero tolerance law for students, which, for those of you who don't know, it is for anyone under 21 who is caught with any alcohol in their system and driving. Their license can be suspended until they're 21, so we go over that very thoroughly. We also try to keep the communication lines open. Seeing the DARE program has stopped at the high school a few years ago, we still like to invite a presenter from the village police, where they come in and give a presentation, providing that they're available, that they come in and they talk to the kids and answer any questions that they may have regarding the drugs that are out there or any of the laws that have changed pertaining to drinking and driving. The last unit up here was the sexuality unit. As you can see, there's a lengthy list of topics. This usually takes us about 3 to 4 weeks to get through as well. We try to focus on not just the physical aspect of this unit, but also the emotional dangers and the social outcomes with their decisions that they make and how that can affect them for the rest of their life. And we just usually finish in enough time with all the units that we have before the year is over. So that's where grades 9 and 10 come in, and Sally is going to talk to you about life skills.
Hi, I'm Sally Cousins. I've been teaching this district for 20 years, so I'm, well, almost the old fogey. I'm here to talk to you tonight about the Life Skills Program, which is a local mandate for juniors and seniors. There's an old Chinese proverb that says, if you want to plan for a year, plant corn. If you want to plan for a decade, plant trees. If you want to plan for a lifetime, train and educate people. And that's the goal of our Life Skills Program. We are here to give students skills that will help them transition from high school out into career and family life. In terms of career, with today's economy, we focus a lot on job applications and interview skills. We have them practice job applications, and we do mock interviews. Sometimes we have some of our administrators come in and do interviews with them to kind of give them a real life taste of interviews. We are now working with the American Heart Association so that every junior and senior that comes through Life Skills will have the opportunity to be certified in Heart Saver, CPR, and AED, which there's a big push with New York State to mandate that everyone has knowledge in CPR and AED. So we're trying to be a little proactive and get that started now. Plus it looks good on the college and job applications, and so we're adding that in. We also focus on communication skills and conflict resolution. Today's kids, they're really good at Twittering and texting, but we're losing that face-to-face contact. So we are trying to reinstill the importance in the art of communication skills. We look at like patterns in relationships, including marriage, communication skills, peaceful conflict resolution strategies, which in marriage might be a good thing tonight when you have to present to the board on Valentine's. Keep that in mind. So we're doing that as well. We also, in regards to the New York State mandate on parenting, we do a lot with child development, childhood obesity, school readiness, importance of reading with kids, through journals, class activities, class projects. Kids will learn the importance of and the roles and responsibilities of parenting. This week in class, what we've been doing is the kids are creating public service announcements as part of a New York State contest in terms of texting and driving and distracted driving, drunk driving. We had a speaker coming Monday to talk to the kids about that. And later in the year, we're going to have the New York State Troopers come in with a driving and texting simulator, because just recently with the accident in Angola, and that's something that's really important, that we need to keep our kids safe. So we've been focusing on that as well. Mrs. Morris and I are also working really hard with area community colleges. We would like to get college credit for life skills and our electives, and we hope to have that in place by next year in terms of that life skills.
I am the teacher of the stress management elective class, and this is offered both semesters. It's a 20-week course, a half-year credit. The stress management class was added as an elective in 2008 after students voiced a need for such a class. And considering the fact that 75 to 90% of all doctor visits are stress-related, we figured that it was a good idea to start getting the kids aware of what they can do to actually help themselves. Since adolescence is a period of significant change, including physical, emotional, social, and academic, many teens are under more stress than ever before. Some of the factors include academic pressure and career decisions, pressure to wear certain types of clothing or hairstyles, pressure to do drugs, use alcohol or sex, pressure to fit in with their peer groups and measure up to others, adaptation to body changes, family and peer conflicts, and taking on too many activities, which is probably one of the number one things that they talk about, that they have just too much on their plate. It's very important that teens learn to handle stress so they can avoid some of the long-term buildup that this can cause, which can lead to problems including physical illness, anxiety or depression, which would require professional help. Some of the topics are coping skills and techniques that we cover. You can see, I'm not going to go through all the list here. We also have teamed up with the Be Healthy Institute in Hamburg, and we've gotten various speakers, and Jill Chacha has actually come in and done some presentations with nutrition and stress management, how your eating styles can affect your stress levels. And we've had some certified yoga instructors come from Be Healthy, and we've actually gone on a walk over to the Be Healthy Institute, just so they can start having some resources in the community. The course is based on 30% participation, so I ask the kids that they do have to try all of the different things that we give them to experiment with. They don't have to like it, they don't have to ever use it again, and some of them complain when I roll out the yoga mats, but honestly, they all give it a try, and they overwhelmingly, yeah, they do. They really enjoy the class, so just give you a little bit of history on that. And we are also seeking college credit through GCC for the stress management class.
Our other elective is our nutrition elective. Both the stress management and the nutrition elective were created based on student need. We looked at what big issues in terms of health are affecting kids. And if you look at obesity rates in our country, it's becoming epidemic. According to the Center for Disease Control, up to 20% of our nation's youth are overweight. And in New York State, it's even higher. It's up to about 30% of kids are obese. So we need to change that, and just telling kids, don't eat that much ice cream or eat the Doritos, or it doesn't cut it. We need to really look at the overall nutrition of what they're eating. So in nutrition class, it was great to see the Giving Garden here today, and great to hear about all the increased nutrition and, the greater lunches. That's all great to hear. But as kids get older and they start to make their own decisions, you know, nutrition education really needs to be there. You know, mom and dad are always gonna be there saying, you know, finish your broccoli. They need to understand why that's important and choose to do that on their own. So yay to the kindergartens for doing that tonight. In our class, what we do is we break the course kind of in two parts. The first part is we break their diet down into the basic nutrients and kind of talk about the different nutrients. So like when we talk about carbohydrates, we talk about complex carbohydrates. We talk about diabetes and carbohydrate loading and break that apart. Then the second half of the course, we kind of put all the nutrients back together and talk about different diets. We talk about sports nutrition, vegetarianism, organic food. We have a lot of speakers come in. The lunch lady comes in and we get to tour the cafeteria and we get to make the menu for the month of healthy diets for the lunch that the kids will eat. We take field trips. We've been to the Lexington Co-op downtown. We go to Tops, yay, every year to kind of answer the age-old question of how come mom says, I'm just going in for bread and milk. And they spend $150 when they walk out the door. We talk about that. And our last big thing is we go to one of the elementary schools, either Union Plaza or Charlotte Avenue, and the kids go into different classes and teach units or lessons on nutrition to the younger kids, kind of giving back what they learned in class. So we do a lot, and it's a lot of fun. Plus we eat every Friday. It's fun every Friday, so it's a lot of fun. And again, that's another class that we're looking to get college credit to UCC for next year with. I got one more slide. Okay, to wrap it up, today's decisions are tomorrow's realities. From kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, we want kids to have it ingrained into their head. I know in 9th grade health, life skills, they remember Mrs. Gallagher's talk. You know, I saw kids laugh when she pulled out the baby suits. People remember those conversations. And we need to have that ingrained so that when they leave Hamburg, they're making good, healthy decisions, you know, and they beat the odds because there was just an article that came out in the New England Journal of Medicine that said this generation, these kids, are going to be the first generation that does not outlive its parents. If it continues with the nutrition and the lack of exercise, and we need to turn it around. And that's what health education K-12 does. So.
One of our colleagues actually kind of summed it up. Katie Webster, she's an instructor at Union Pleasant, and she says kids learn things